tuned for that for sure. But let's dive into the next topic really quick, and that's a quick draft recap. Now I'm looking to have a more in-depth episodes because it was a lot of picks. So one episode might not be enough, but if it is, it is. So looking in the future to have a lot more draft talk. France, man, France. It's like I'm gonna give a shout out to my man Tomo because Tomo gave France a lot of love on the R2L show as far as the biggest winners, and I gotta kind of agree with them because France, is producing freaks, guys that are tall, pause, got long arms, athletic, like guys that can do it all on the court, and they're going top in the draft. They just had the last two top first round number 1 overall picks. They also had the number 2 pick this year, and other picks in the draft. So France is really out here developing guys, getting guys ready for the NBA, and they're doing their thing. And it's a beautiful thing to see, just because you get to see something different, something new. You get to see guys that it's just interesting for me because the NBA, of course, the USA team might be the best team. However, a lot of top players are guys from overseas. Like the top 5 players in the NBA right now, most of them aren't from the USA, and that's just a beautiful thing. If you ask me, it's like it just shows the growth, and you just gotta love to see it. But one of the main picks I want to talk about is the number 3 overall pick, and that's the Rockets. They drafted Reeves out of Kentucky. Um, I said Reeves. Excuse me, Reed Shepard out of Kentucky, and he's a shooter, a scorer. He's now when I first heard that he was a projected a top pick, I was very skeptical on it. I can't lie, because a lot of people going into this draft was saying like a lot of these guys aren't high class, not high class, but high. They're not like top of the line guys. It's not like a guy that just wow you. It just it's a solid draft. It's a lot of guys that you could find a lot of diamond in the roughs in this draft. Let me say that. It's a lot of solid players. It's not no superstar caliber guys, but guys can develop into that. But it's not just guys jumping out like that in this draft. However, Reed Shepard going top 3, going to the Rockets. I'm gonna have a microscope on him because number 3, that's a top pick. That's a top pick, and he has a lot of hype coming out of Kentucky. Kentucky underachieved this year, being a team. Well, last year in the tournament, being a team that can score. He played alongside Rob Dillingham. You had the other guy Reeves, and then you also they just had a lot of high powered guys that can score, but they couldn't stop nobody. So it's it was interesting to see like Reeves go number 3. And for me, not to say he's not a good player, I'm just curious to see how good he can be at number 3 because to be a top 3 pick, you have to have upside on both ends, if you ask me. And I want to see what he can really bring on a defensive end, especially with a team like the Rockets, who has a coach in Udoka who that's what he preaches. He preaches defense. So that's going to be an interesting pick for me to really be checking out all year, seeing how he meshes with that team and what they get out of that guy. Let's see. Got Carl here. Well, shout out to Joe for the first comment. 5 Flames. Carl here. That's how I felt. It's a lot of great role players in this draft. Yeah. See, it was just like, yeah, that's good. I agree, Carl. A lot of guys you can pick up, plug and play guys that they're not going to just come over and you got to really change your whole squad for. Only guys probably would be, Alex Sarr going to the Wizards. But the number 1 pick, Zach, I don't think that he will alter that team as much because they have a guy like a Trae Young. So I agree right there, Carl. Carl, another one. But I don't think the draft was trash, as people said. I definitely agree. The draft wasn't trash. It just wasn't like it wasn't the 92 draft. It wasn't nothing crazy like that. Not the '03 draft, not '02, you know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy like that. Shout out my boy Blaze. Let's go. Let's get it, my boy. Need that shoot that super chat though. Y'all hear him? We need the super chat. We gotta get them subscribers up. We gotta get the watch hours. So your boy about to be on it all season time. So all season mode is definitely in effect. Definitely about to get in that grind. So so the next person that I definitely want to talk about, I want to talk about the two centers, Donovan Clingan and Zach Edey. I think those two picks were were pretty interesting because you have two big men that are like traditional bigs as far as shot blocking and protecting the rim and finishing at the basket. Those guys aren't shooting threes, like dribbling the ball, things of that nature. These guys are 7 feet taller and they're there to block shots and get rebounds. And Donovan, I believe he went to the Blazers. That I think was a good pickup for them because I don't believe in what's your boy name, the big man that played for DeAndre Ayton. I'm not a big fan of Ayton. He is very skilled. He's very talented, but he doesn't consistently bring it. He doesn't consistently give you that what you need out of a big man. So I'm not 100% sold on him. I think getting a guy like Donovan, he's a young guy. He can probably learn a couple of skills from a DeAndre Ayton. However, I think having him will be good, especially for their defense. Having a lot of young guys there, a lot of young guards, that's definitely going to help them guys become when you got a young team, having a shot blocker, it helps your defense tremendously. Any team really having a shot blocker just helps your team tremendously. Guys are able to really pressure guys on the wing, make forcing them to get to the basket, so you can lead them right to your shot blocker. So I think that's going to really help the Blazers out. Shout out to the Blazers for that pick. And then Memphis getting Zach Edey. I think that was a really good pick. Zach Edey is a really good big man. He showed it in the championship, how he was out there. He was kind of dogging Donovan, to be honest. He was out there doing his thing. He has high IQ. He's not just a big man with one move. He's not a one-trick pony. He can get buckets. So I like I like his potential as well. Got to see how like health, how if he can get a little stronger, if he can withstand the beating in the NBA. However, the NBA isn't that physical as it used to be, but you still got to watch out for these guys because it's a new era now, and it's a lot more about skill and not more about force and that dog in you. Um. So the last thing I want to talk about with the draft, well, that's the last thing. Let's talk about the two most obvious things. Bronny James getting picked up by the Lakers. That was you gotta applaud yourself to that because that's history right there. A father and son, like of that caliber playing together, like LeBron James. A lot of people consider him as the GOAT, the number two. Like him being able to get his son, he's always known being legend. That's one thing he has over Kobe, over Jordan, the way that he got his rosters together, the way he has control over like doing those type of things. And you got to shout him out for that, for being able to get his son on the Lakers in the NBA. Even though I feel like he would have found his way there eventually, but being able to play with your father showing you the way, of course, and it's just gonna be nice. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a moment on the court together, moment or two. That they're definitely gonna throw them on the court, especially for them dollars. I'm not even gonna lie. But as a basketball move, I'm not sure. I gotta see what I like. I don't think Bronny James is a scrub. I think he should have stayed one more year in college, develop a little bit more, and he probably would have been able to up his draft stock. To be honest, I know money ain't an issue for him. However, I just think that would have been a better basketball move for him. So I want to talk about this one team I thought had a really good draft. I thought they got some really solid players, especially especially with what they've been doing over the last years, you know, with these getting these draft picks and all that good stuff. And that's the Jazz. I think the Jazz had a really good draft. You know, that they made trades getting all those draft picks. They have Keontae George from last year, rookie guard, who had an excellent rookie year. double digit in assists. Some games he had games hitting like 5, 6 threes. He's become a three ball threat already. You know, you already got Laurie Marketing. You got the center down there. Carl, help me out, man. Let me know his name. The center over there. He's a young guy as well. The young guy as well. And I forgot his name. Somebody let me know in the chat. The big man for the Jazz. He is shot blocker. Let me know his name. They got him as well. I think they still got Jordan Clarkson as well. But they picked up Cody Williams. Yes. Thank you, Carl. You got me already. Walker Kessler. I know that's your guy. They got Walker Kessler down there as well. So they got a lot of young pieces, and they still got some draft picks as well. Shout out my boy Ty. I thought you were going to say the Timberwolves. I do got something to say about the Timberwolves as well. I'll get that out of the way right quick for you, Ty. Rob Dillingham, that was a steal for sure. You know, they got him for like draft picks for like 6 years later. Like, that was crazy. He's like one of the most certified buckets coming out of the drafts. And him and Ant-Man, I think that's going to be a beautiful thing to see. So I'm excited for that as well. But back to the Jazz, they got Cody Williams out of Colorado. I'm a big fan of Cody Williams. I think he is an excellent player. He has excellent skill set, excellent size, and I think he has a great upside, especially playing like, you know, a team like the Jazz. They got a lot of bigger guys that can hoop, you know. Cody Williams, Laurie Markkinen. Then they also picked up Flip from Duke, who is a very skilled 7-footer that can really do it all, you know. So they have picked up some good pieces, you know. I said they got Keontae George guard. They still got Colin Sexton. I think I hear about some rumors of him getting moved, but if you look at the other guard that got out the draft, and that's Isaiah Collier out of USC, who he is a solid guard. I think he can do a lot of things out there. Solid. I think he can be a solid defender, solid facilitator, gets to the basket. So I think him and Keontae George, they'll have a solid young point guard duo out there with a guy like Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. I'm not sure what the future of Colin Sexton would be, but I just like those three pickups from the Jazz, the Cody Williams, the Flip, and the Collier. I think those three guys are three players that Flip and Collier, I think, stock dropped from injury. And Flip had, you know, all that off the court stuff, you know, tripping people up and tripping fan, like all that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff kind of messed up his draft stock. And then Collier, he had injuries. So, you know, injuries really messed up people's draft stocks. Could you see a guy like Kevin McCullough from Kansas? He dropped all the way to second round, and the Knicks ended up getting him. And me and Carl kept saying, man, this guy is a bucket. He can do it all. And he's falling like that. Like, so a lot of teams sleep on guys because of like an injury. However, injuries happen. And it's guys that had injuries and then they don't get injured no more. And it's guys that never had injuries. And then next thing you know, they end up with injuries. So injuries can be tricky. So I would advise a lot of GMs to don't let that be the say all be all for your draft pick for sure. But Collier has great upside. Yes, I'm a fan of him. I think he was the reason why Bronny James really didn't get a lot of burn. You know, him being a guard and Bronny being a guard, him being the more, I won't say more ready guard, but he was a higher prospect coming in, and he wasn't hurt. And you know, Bronny James had the whole surgery and all that kind of stuff going on. So it was. I think he could have definitely benefited from another year alone in USC. Kevin McCullough was injury and age, but a baller is a baller. I agree. I mean, I'm a Magic fan. We picked up a guy that's 23. That's De Silva from Colorado. I love his game, but you know, you got to get guys that you can, like, if you draft a guy in the second round or even in the first round, you're not like a top pick and you get a couple good years out of him. That's good because you can parlay that into a trade. You know what I'm saying? You might even get some good experience for your younger guys because you never know what you can get out of a couple good years from a draft pick. But if you got a top 5, top 10 pick, you got to got to kind of score on those guys. I'm not gonna lie, but that's my little draft recap right there. I'm like I said, I will definitely go more in depth into picks, especially the top two picks. I just want to give a shout out to France really with the top two picks. That's remarkable. After having the number one pick, that's remarkable. Shout out Alex R. I'm from the DMV DC, so hopefully you can bring some hope here, bring some excitement, because I definitely will be going to the games for sure. All right, so shout out to everybody in the comments.